Hello and welcome to this ICANN Media Podcast. I'm your host, Rob Hislop. It is day 3 at the Global Petroleum Show, the final day. Still lots going on, though. One of the gentlemen that I'm going to introduce you to right now just finished a session here, and it's Ron Demaray. Ron, thanks very much for joining us.
Good morning.
Ron, you were with Dekra Insight from Kansas City, and you were up here talking about safety management. Perhaps you can give us a little bit of insight into your speech.
Okay, I'd like to do that. We talked about the importance of having a management system for your safety program, because safety is a big issue with all of this. You look around, see all these big pieces of equipment with all the heavy chains and piping and all these things that are moving while lots of people are working around it. So obviously safety becomes important. And almost important as the safety program itself is, how do you manage that? How do you keep track of all the things that happen at a job site? So if people are getting hurt or injured, or you have near-miss accidents, what happened? How do you gain knowledge from that and make yourselves better? And that's what a safety management system does, is it gives you a place to put information, it records that information, and it gets it back to you in meaningful reports, so you can hopefully improve your overall performance. Injure fewer people. None of us that are in any industry want people to come to work and get injured. We want them to go home the same way they came to work that day. So that's really critical and a really important piece of safety management system.
So when you talk about a system, is it just documentation key and how you document it and then what you get from it afterwards? Does that break it down to its simplest form?
Yeah, that's a really key component, but another part of it that's really important is engaging employees in the system. So it has to be an accessible system that gives you control, continuity, consistency. So you have people at all levels of the organization that are engaged in it. They understand what the safety message is, what their safety goals are, and it goes all the way from the top people in the company down to the frontline worker. And when you involve people in safety and you engage them in the process, your company moves the safety of that organization very far forward.
What sort of what would be some of the biggest obstacles that companies would face when it comes to implementing a superior safety management system?
I think following through when incidents are happening or an accident happens is a follow-through method for that, to assign corrective actions if necessary, do some investigations to find root causes, assign corrective actions to people, and then once those corrective actions are assigned, make sure that they get completed. Because the importance of this system is, if you don't have somebody that gets assigned a corrective action, doesn't complete it, you're not changing anything. So what's to prevent whatever happened from happening again? So obviously when you have serious incidents, fatalities, serious injuries, people do a really good job of investigating those for the most part. They want to know why it happened, what happened, and certainly there are other reasons that go along with that. But what we like to do is see people take that a step further. When you have an incident, a near miss, somebody gets almost run over by a truck moving or a crane, or gets hit by something swinging off a crane, you need to look at that and ask yourself, why did that happen? What were the elements that led to that? What was the chain of events, if you will, that led to that incident or near miss?
And you certainly need support from management for something like that, because the worker may not feel comfortable reporting a near miss because it may show that they were negligent at that moment, or perhaps it's like you're telling on a coworker when something like that goes on. How do you try and alleviate that so that there isn't a fear involved?
That's where leadership and safety starts at the very top. Companies have to make a commitment to safety and to give their employees who are engaged in the system the right to stop work in a serious where they see a serious incident that could take place. When they see things bad happening, they can stop work. That all comes from the very top. So leadership and safety is really, really important.
Ron, thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you. My pleasure.
We've been chatting with Ron Demaray from Dekra Insight here on ICANN Media.